Good evening, YouTube. It's Man Always Joe's page. Come to you live on YouTube. It's been a while since I did like any happy birthday videos. I've been putting out quite a few people passing videos like DMX and Black Rob, Shock G, and Tanya um, Molina. But it's just time that I need to get back to doing this. I like talk about certain stars and actors that I'm a big fan of and remember their birthday. And yesterday was a birthday. It was one of the greatest actors in history. This man's a legend. You've seen him in so many movies over the years. And you know what? Put in your favorite movies in the comment section. Which ones were your favorite when you were coming up? And this is one Mr. Alfredo James um, Pacino, but better known as Al Pacino. And he's one of the greatest actors in the world. I mean, he has accolades and awards and just the movies he's done have been stellar movies. He's done some not so good stellar movies, but he has put out some great content over the years. Now, Al was born April 25th, 1940, and he was raised in East Harlem with his parents. Um, uh, his mother, um, his mother, Gerardini, and his father Salvatore. And his parents got divorced when he was young, so they moved to his mother moved to the Bronx, lived with her parents. You know, his mother Rose. I'm sorry, his mother. And he grew up, in an Italian family, stereotypical Italian family. His family, his grandparents, his parents came from Italy. Now, as a young man, he was called Sonny, by his friends, and he was really into sports. But yeah, he was more of an actor. So, and, but if he dropped out of high school, he took, he accepted, he took classes in English because he lived in a predominantly Italian family. He spoke a lot of Italian, but he learned very on. But he had some troubles like a lot of young people coming up in those times. But he made a go for it. You know, by the '60s he started doing stage work, and then by the '70s he starred in his first movie where he played a heroin addict, and that movie got attention by a certain actor by the name of it's not a director by the name of this actor's uncle, Francis Ford Coppola. Well, here's the thing is, his nephew, also, Nicholas Coppola. And you not know who Nicholas is? Nicholas Cage. He changed his name to Nicholas Cage because, he felt like he'd be, he wouldn't have much of an acting career if he was one of the most well-known director's nephews. So anyway, in around '71, he auditioned for Francis for a movie which was coming out called The Godfather. Now, at the time, there were several actors that auditioned for that movie, such as Robert Redford, Warren Beatty, and also Robert De Niro. But Francis liked uh, way how good performance Al gave, and he got the role, and he played Michael Corleone. As you know, Michael Corleone was the youngest son of Don Corleone. As you know, was played by the late Marlon Brando. And Michael was the one who went off to college. He joined the military, was in the Marine Corps, fought the war. And then towards the end of the movie, in the first movie, he became Don. As you know, his brother Fredo wasn't that smart, you know. And also, the older brother Sonny was killed. Remember, they got killed Sonny in the first movie. And then later, around in '74, you know, they did Godfather 2, and Godfather starred also Robert De Niro, but De Niro and Pacino didn't play on the same stage. De Niro played the the old younger version of Don Corleone, and Michael, he was already leading the family. Now, by the following year, he also played a movie called what's that movie? Trying to look at the information. Yes, a popular movie by the name of A Dog Day Afternoon. Now, this movie is kind of funny about this movie. He played a guy who robbed a bank that gets surgery for his transgender boyfriend. That's a crazy movie, but it's a classic. You ever see it? Also did several other movies in that time. You know, not as well known. But he kept busy a good part of the 70s until in '83 we started in the Brian De Palma classic Scarface with Tony Montana, the Cuban immigrant, and Scarface has been popular, especially in the hip hop urban culture. Everybody loves Scarface. You have a rap song about Scarface, Tony Montana. And originally Scarface is based on a movie from back in the 40s. And it was pretty much it's about the same. If you ever saw this movie, I saw the movie years ago, and it's almost the same form, a little different, but it's pretty much about the same anyway. And this is a classic movie. There was also there was talk about doing a remake, but don't trust Scarface. Leave it alone. Then he did some movies during the good part of the '80s. Not as well known, except for a couple here and there. And then in the '90s, he starred in the comic book movie Dick Tracy, where he played Big Boy Caprice. And I seen Dick Tracy. It's a pretty good movie. Starred Warren Beatty, and it's a good movie. Warren Beatty, Madonna. It's a funny, based on Dick Tracy. Never read Dick Tracy. I used to read Dick Tracy in the Sunday comics when I was a kid. It's a classic. And then that same year, he did the movie The Godfather 3. And Godfather 3, some people say wasn't as good, but it was a story of Michael Corleone. That part where they keep pulling him back in, they keep pulling him back in. It's a good movie. People didn't like it as much because, at the end, the movie, one part of the movie, his daughter gets killed, and then Michael dies an old man. But he truthfully he outlived his, he outlived his brother. He remember he killed Fredo. You remember that part, like Fredo said, no one says Fredo was my mother's alive. And then when mother died, what happened to Fredo? And he did a movie called Frankie and Johnny with Michelle Pfeiffer, who starred in Scarface. And then in '92, he did a classic, Kiss of the Woman. And, that's just, Sin of a Woman. And that's a great movie. He played a former military officer who was blind in an accident. And really he really had a good attitude. He was really cool. I want to say the word right. I want to say it without messing it up. He had a lot, class to him, a style. The movie also starred Chris, what's his name? Oh, Chris O'Donnell. And he was young at that time. That was maybe a few years before he played in Batman. It wasn't that great. It was Robin. And you can see other movies along the way. And then around '95, he started a great movie. And he's once again, worked with Robert De Niro, and that's Heat. Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Ashley Judd. There was so many great actors in that movie, and it was a great movie about him. He was a cop hunting down bank robbers. And there was one scene in the part where they're sitting in supposed to be sitting in the cafeteria, sitting across from each other, but it said actually they wouldn't really sit across from each other. They did things separately or something like that. I just, And you remember that one part we talking to the guy said, she has a great ass. That's a classic. Also he did several other movies between that time, some classics, Donnie Brasco, and then he did the movie The Devil Advocates with Keanu Reeves, where he plays a defense attorney, and if you realize he's the devil, and Keanu Reeves is supposed to be his son. And it was a pretty good movie. He did other movies like The Insider was based around a story that was about 60 minutes. Any Given Sunday was a football movie which starred Jamie Foxx and LL Cool J. And also by the 2000s, he was in the movie series, the Ocean's movies. That's what starred George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Bernie Mac. A lot of great actors in that movie. And he was in the third movie, which is Ocean's 13. He had a little, he was kind of the bad guy in the movie because you remember Andy Garcia wasn't the bad guy in the first two movies. He became kind of the good guy in this one. And then in around 2000s, he did some movies here and there. He did a little comedy with, Adam Sandler called Jack and Jill, where it was a story of where they played, Adam Sandler played, a twin brother and sister. It wasn't that good a movie. It wasn't that good of the movie. He did some movies for straight for TV, made for cable stuff over the years. And recently, it was a couple of years ago, he did a movie with his own good friend, Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese is a great director, producer, and he started a team up with De Niro one more time. He did a movie a while back, and this is another movie they did together, which is called The Irishman, where he played the Teamster union leader Jimmy Hoffa, and De Niro played kind of his like hitman assassin muscle, something like that. And also he did some other movies, a good part of the 2000s, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think he had a big role in that one also that year. And then later on, he just started a new series called Hunter, which is a series about a group of people hunting down Nazis. It's on, I think it's on Amazon Prime or Amazon, something like that. I don't do streaming services, what's the heck, I barely watch regular TV anyway. And also he has his career in stage. He just is his career in stage. He has a Tony, and he has other roles such as he has an Oscar. He also has SAG awards. He has Golden Globes. He even have an Emmy for Best Actor in a miniseries or a movie on for television. And he is also a father. He has three children. His oldest daughter from his first one of his girlfriends, and then also he was for around about the late '90s to the early 2000s. He dated actress Beverly D'Angelo. A lot of you remember from the National Lampoon movies as the wife. And then they had two children, twin boy and girl. And they are now I think about in their 20s. Gonna be 20s this year. But De Niro is just, sorry, Pacino is just that great actor. I mean, his performances are just so emotional. I mean, he can do anything from, you know, high quality kind of, the kind of stuff you see with costumes and stuff like that, or just play gangsters or play, one of his movies you might remember is also Serpico, play cops and like that. And he just has such a range over his career. I mean, the work he has put out and even though he's not as active as he was back in the good part of, I would say, 70s through the 60s, and from 70s to the 90s, he's still just one of those great guys. He probably can call upon him at any time. And can't believe he's 81 years old. And just all he did over the years, the movies, the people he worked with, the awards he has gained, it's amazing. To live as long as he's have and accomplish as much as he has. And not just being an actor, but also being a father and a friend. So anyway, I'd like to wish a happy belated birthday to a great actor who I'm a fan of. He's always gonna be. He could be Tony Montana, he could be Michael Corleone, he could be, anything. He put his mind to. So okay, so like say this. Say goodnight to the bad guy. It's me always, George Page. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.